One roll call.
Commissioner Alexander,
Here.
Commissioner LaBouffe, Commissioner Costello, Commissioner Oleta Reed,
Here.
Vice Chair Meyer,
Here.
Chair Riordan.
Here.
We have a quorum.
If there are any items that arose after the 72 hours closing deadline, this is the point in the meeting where a vote can be taken to add any items to the agenda. Is there any items that you would like to add to the agenda?
No. No.
Okay. I need to read something about public comment.
No, read that, just read.
So don't-
Comment is open.
Okay, public comment is open.
Mr. Miller, you may comment.
Oh, this is City Council Member Alex Miller. I'm just here to support and help in any way that I can. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
for your
you.
comment.
Anybody else? Public comment is closed. The approval of the minutes. Everybody had a chance to look at previous minutes. Is there any changes or any input on those?
No, I'm good with the minutes.
Okay,
I move to approve the minutes.
Second.
all in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Aye. Anyway, okay. And then the approval minutes for March 13th.
Goes for them.
Oh, those, I'm sorry. I apologize. Okay, let's go to item 6, begin with the discussion on providing plaques for the NIC completed projects. Yes.
Evening Chair, members of the board, Dan Nealis, Assistant City Manager. As the commission can remember, from the last meeting, we discussed the commission would take back the idea of plaques and come up with language that they would like to see on these plaques and then have that discussion and fully fledge out how you would like to move forward.
Yes, Chair. I believe the last time we left it at, we would just like to recognize for the plaques, which, we're not the only commission that is involved in these projects, and that we would like to recognize those commissions as well as the city council, since it I guess we all fall under them. So I think that's where we left off. I may be wrong, but
No, I think you're correct.
recognition of the participating parties.
So does anybody have any ideas how they think they would like to see that? I mean, we could make a generic open spaces on it and just add it in there when we need them to be made, or make them ahead of time.
I don't have any problem with it, just reading neighborhood improvement program, whatever we are. Neighborhood improvement.
Well, someone recommended that it would say
Yeah.
recommended by and the
There it is.
year, and then that would be it. And then make it into a plaque where you would screw it onto it or you would glue it on there.
You're talking about the other commission that was in
Yeah.
later on
Yeah.
with that. So a generic plaque with thanking the Neighborhood Improvement Commission, City Council with, some space for, okay.
Yeah, something similar to this one that I showed last time, but we would just have it open where it would say arts and crafts or things like that, for the murals or the trees, things like that. Trees.
So, if I may,
Yes.
Chair, I checked ChatGPT and ChatGPT suggests maybe a title, House of the Month, the homeowner's name maybe, and, either the such family or John and Jane Doe, maybe even the address. And then what we can put down as key achievements, maybe exceptional landscaping or beautiful seasonal decor or impeccable curb appeal. Maybe the date of the recognition, logo or branding. So if we wanted to put maybe the S for Seaside, the little seahorse or whatever, I don't know. And then we could do other things like design and visual elements, but like a house or a little tree or something, or make the plaque like a little house. But those are some ideas that ChatGPT came up with.
So I think we're
Yeah.
mainly discussing murals and things like that, not the house of the month.
Oh,
That's the city of
Oh.
Seaside has their own plaque.
Oh, what
We
do-
do that the mayor presents.
oh, for completed projects.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'm sorry.
So
No wonder you're looking at me funny, Ramona.
yeah, but and the mayor, I think they have their own plaque that they like to use on the house.
Okay.
So would we want to go that route, or does anybody have a good?
I like this. I like the very basic, generic, recognizing, of course, since it's our recommendation to the, from, this list of projects. But the individual commissions we work with, I like, that there's space for them to recognize them. It's simple, it recognizes all involved. So that would be my goal.
Read it out there so we can see, like you said, for the people watching.
Sure. It would be similar to this, which says, this one says provided by the Seaside Neighborhood Improvement Commission. But we talked about last time that we would say recommended by arts and crafts. There, and then year 2025, and then just have the emblem.
No mention of the NIC.
Well, if it was an NIC project, then it would say the Neighborhood Improvement Commit ours. But if it's arts and crafts, or if it's I guess in Monterey, they have the tree plaque that they put in the ground or something like on a stick or something. We could do it that way. But if we wanted to have NIC on there every time.
Can I say something? I
Sure.
thought Neighborhood Improvement Commission would be the title, and then underneath it, as you said, recommended
Right,
by
yeah.
Art History Commission. Like that, but it actually derives from Nick, so I think we should be headlining the show.
I like
You
that
will.
too.
And that's what this basically is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we could say recommended by Neighborhood Improvement Commission, and then below that, say arts and crafts or some kind of wording there.
I think we should just leave out recommended, just put Neighborhood Improvement Commission.
Yeah, I think we should just say, a project completed by Neighborhood Improvement Commission. And leave it at that, because there's a lot of people that are involved in this. It's not just Nick. I mean, it's the city council that approves it. And then maybe some of the ideas came from other than Nick. Maybe the ideas, came
Right.
from Art and History Commission. So I just think we should just say Neighborhood Improvement Commission project, whatever. And I just identify it as that. Or a community enhancement project,
That would do.
community enhancement project or
To the chair?
something.
Yes.
So Tiffany, are you saying that we then do not put the other recommended, recognizing the other as it said, as it has right here?
I don't know, it seems like a lot of wording, and I think that it'll just, it's a given that there's a lot of people contributing. I don't think we have to have just our name on there by Nick or by Art and History or anything. I think we should just have it be a general statement saying that this is a seaside neighborhood improvement project and the date that it was completed. Because it's, it may be that we recommend it to city council, but city council's the one who's approving it. They're the ones that control the purse strings, not us. We're just helping them by vetting the ideas that come to us. And so by saying it in a generic fashion, we're giving everybody that was involved a credit. We're just not highlighting who everybody is on the plaque.
So back to the original one that was provided by the Seaside Neighborhood Improvement Commission 2025. That was the kind of looking at.
Well, that one is saying, I mean, that's provided by, and we're not really providing it. I mean, in my view, I mean, we could say,
Recommended.
project, completed, or recommended by Seaside Neighborhood Improvement Commission. I mean, we could say that, but or project completed.
Just Seaside Neighborhood Community Project.
Yeah,
Keep it real simple.
Seaside
But I still
Neighborhood
feel
Improvement
strongly-
Project.
I feel strongly that maybe the Art and History Commission did come up with the idea originally that maybe they should have it at the bottom line, say, something Art and History Commission.
Sure. So, I mean, we're going out in the last several months and ask for other commissions, other groups to come and make a pitch to us. And if we leave it just as that pitch, that work, that collaboration is not recognized. And, I like to see in even the smallest portion, I just like to see that collaboration recognized. Otherwise, it just doesn't feel as much as teamwork as I was hoping for many, many years. I was hoping all of our commissions would start working together on things. So finally we are, so we need to recognize it.
If I may, I think then with that said, then Ramona's idea would work fine with me by putting it, saying Seaside Neighborhood Improvement Project, and then the year, and then maybe in below, put down the commission that did it. Art and History, NIC, traffic, whatever, whoever it was. Then it's given the recognition. Okay. Should we then go ahead and vote on it?
Yes.
Or we have to have
No.
public comment?
Anybody else want to comment? Public comment? Okay, public comment is closed. So.
Here, I'll make the motion that basically that we encapsulate what Tiffany said based on what Ramona said. Is that we the headline, I suppose, because it is recommended to City Council through the NIC, but it does recognize in a space what other group has we worked with on it. In essence.
Can we clarify it then? Clarify the wording or language?
Yeah. Seaside Neighborhood Improvement
Project.
Project,
Commission.
Commission
Project.
Project. Okay,
In collaboration.
And the year.
and then down below the year, put the commission's name.
Commission's name.
Use art. And history.
Not crafts.
Upgrades.
No, not crafts. It's silly.
Confusing.
It's silly.
So I'll just say it will say Seaside Neighborhood Improvement Commission Project 2025, and then right below that, it would say arts and history.
Second,
All approve?
I,
Aye. Nays? Okay. Yeah. Oh, they're supposed to say that. Passes. All righty, let's go to our cleanup. I believe there's Dennis.
Yes, I want to thank you all.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. 6B, it'd be assigned cleanup site locations to commissioners. And I think one of our commissioners will not be available, so we have to assign where it will be. Okay.
And again, I think staff and having, this on the agenda, and that's because I found out just very recently, my daughter will be moving that weekend. She needs help. So I won't be able to make it the first time. I won't not make a cleanup. So I'm sure you guys will do great. Thank you.
So I don't know where the locations are, all of them right now.
so I had Highland Otis or that area. I had that one. And I'll be there.
where you at, Alice?
Yeah, I'll do Mal's, and he has agreed. He's agreed to 2 boxes there again, so 2 boxes. And then yours was on Chatty. Oh, that's right. Part of it. You're gonna do that one.
And where was the other one? The last
Terrace
part
or Terrace?
or Terrace? And that would be Joan, or was that?
That's Joan.
Joan does that. Okay. And then was there 5?
5 boxes, 4 locations.
That's what we
Because
have.
Mel's getting 2.
Sales getting 2. Okay, so we would have Highland Otis, that's Tiffany's, Mal's, that will have 2 boxes. That's myself, Ray, Pacheco Park, Dog Park, for Mona, and Cortez, right? It would be Joan. And then Sandra, she can come and she could help me over there at Mouse to maintain those 2. Oh, public comment?
Diane Nielsen, City of Seaside resident. It would be nice to have you explain to the public exactly what you're doing. Boxes don't necessarily mean dumpsters, and what are you doing with these boxes and that sort of thing. And just and as an observer, it seems like you're just talking amongst yourselves and you're not talking to the public. You're kind of not using the protocol. And it's a little confusing because you look away the mic, we can't hear what you're saying. I can't hear everything you're saying from right there. I'm just saying there's one person on the commission that pretty much follows the protocol, and the rest, it's a little confusing. I'm not saying you're doing a bad job. I'm just saying it would be nice if it were more protocol use.
I
That's it.
appreciate that input.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, first of all, then I would like to say what this is all about. We do. Oh. No one, public comment is closed. I would like to take this time then to describe what we do with these boxes. These are dumpsters that are delivered by Waste Management. It goes from 8:30 to 12 o'clock on April 28th. And what happens is it's free drop off. You drop off any of items that you would like to get rid of, except for a few items that they can't take. And that would be mattresses, paint, chemicals, pool chemicals, refrigerators, stoves, batteries, oil, asbestos, tires, antifreeze, cleaning products, washer and dryers, and any hazardous materials. And then what happens is we close it up at noon, and then Waste Management comes and picks them up. And it's all free. It's to help the community get rid of the trash.
But only open to the residents of Seaside.
Anybody want any other input? Any other input? So, with that in mind, and with the assignments that we have, does anybody want to bring this for a vote?
So moved.
Second,
Second,
all in favor?
aye.
Any nays? Passes unanimously. Thank you. Okay, 6C is discuss and consider ordering jackets for commissioners.
This item was recommended by one of the commissioners to bring forward for discussion. So now really if the commission so chooses to embark on ordering jackets for everyone, we can move forward at that time. But really, I think what we're looking for here is for the commission to make a recommendation, determine a dollar amount, and approve that to move forward. And then once that information is provided, then I can come back with some information on color, type, style, based on the budget that is allocated for the commission. And I'll say typical jackets go for anywhere $50 to $100, depending on the type or the style that you would like. So I can answer any questions, but that right now is kind of where we're at.
Other commissioners have jackets that
I'll say yes, but those jackets that the commissions have now are quite old. And at one point there was a push to get all the commission's jackets and they were all the same. That was probably 7 or 8 years ago. And I'll say within the rec department, we had a stockpile of old jackets and we used a lot of those jackets, and you'll see some floating around. They're like a bigger blue jacket. And we had a patch put on that said whatever commission that they were in. So there, to my knowledge, at least the commissions that I'm aware of within the recreation department, there has not been jackets purchased for those commissions.
And the patch would be so that when the person is off the commission, they could turn in the patch, or
I
how
think
does that work?
the reason why there was a patch was because, like I said, the jackets were older and they had something already imprinted. They were never given out. So the patch was just to put over what was already on there.
Oh, I see.
So it was more of a repurpose because we had these jackets. They just were never distributed in the past. So the way I would foresee it going is you can come back with a list of a couple jackets. The commission would decide it, and then it would say you would probably have something embroidered on here that would just say Neighborhood Improvement Commission, right? It wouldn't necessarily put your name on there, or if the commission wanted to put your name on there, you could do that, but it would just say that.
Would it have the city's emblem?
Yes.
Okay. I'm wondering, with what Mr. Miwa said, I'm wondering if we should think about providing every commission with a jacket, or a sweatshirt, something. Instead of just Nick, he said at one time, everybody had one and they haven't had one for about 7 or 8 years. Maybe we should think about that. Instead of just getting them for ourselves.
That's.
through the chair. So to clarify, I'm kind of getting it already that there's a push for all commissions to get the same, according to what you said, Mr. Mealy. So that's already being done?
No, it hasn't been. I know that at least the Parks and Rec Commission has never brought it up. The other commissions that I'm aware of have not brought it up before. It was more the jackets in the past. Like I said, we had them. So the rec director at the time went kind of above and beyond because we had the stockpile within the department to repurpose those jackets and give them to the commissions.
So to clarify, Commissioner Meyer, the NIC will, Christmas and April will pay for every other commission? Is that what you're asking?
Well, we would, of course, would we have to get the city council's approval for that?
As long as it's within your budget.
I mean, if we wanted to get do you think the other commissions would be even receptive to that?
Pretty sure they would be. I can't speak for them, but
I think we should do it. I think we shouldn't just do it. Our commission is the ones that gets the funding. And I think we shouldn't just think of ourselves. I think we should spread the wealth. And then all of our commissioners would have this jacket and they would be identified in the community when they're at, city events or even community events or just walking around. People would know them and then they would be able to say, hey, you're on Parks and Recs. What about those trees? Or, hey, you're on Nick. I'd like to tell you that I think we should have this or whatever.
So what kind of jackets did they repurpose? Were they windbreakers? Were they big?
they were big, kind of thick jackets. See, so
Oh, you do?
yeah, like those ones were, bigger jackets. I recently ordered some for the council that are a little more lightweight, kind of little zip up jackets.
Like Patagonias or something? Patagonia?
No, not Patagonias.
High end. What about Land's End? Something like Land's End or something?
I think your basic Sport Tech jacket, which is one on the, one of the local silk screen shops in town. Carries.
That sounds okay. I mean, similar to what city council has, not to say we're on city council, but might as well be consistent.
And if this is something that the commission is what I'm hearing, then maybe it would be good to talk about it, I believe, at item F when we get down to the work plan. Whether or not that's something that when we go over all those items that are there, that you bring that up if that's something that if you want to discuss that and add that to the existing work plan.
I had one, I'm sorry.
Could you give us an estimate what those jackets cost that government council?
I want to say those ones I think were $65.
A piece.
Yes. And that includes the embroidery.
And how many commissioners do we have? Total, do you happen to know?
Rough number, I think we have 8 commissions, and if you just take 7 times 8, 56.
56 times 65. That is at the top of my head. Let me see what my calculator says.
I mean, you're looking at roughly $5,000 in there.
46,40. 56 times 65. It doesn't include tax, but I've got 36,40.
I mean, and that's, depending on markup, inflation, whatever the jackets are nowadays. That I ordered those a while ago.
And then maybe we want to order a few extra without names.
So
So that for commissioners that leave and new ones that come in.
We won't have names. We won't have our names on them. We'll just have city sign.
I think we should have our names.
on.
They're going to stay
Have
with
our
us
name
or we
tag,
could,
put our name tag on. I think we just have them on stock.
okay. And what color are those jackets that you're ordering for the city council? Are they black?
The ones I got them, I think I got them a black one, and then at one point I got another one where they didn't have black. It was more of like a heather gray kind of salt and pepper almost.
Do you have any pictures of those that you could show us?
I could pull, I mean, I would be able to, yes, I can get a mock-up of the catalog that I ordered them from.
Okay, that'd be great. I mean, I just would like to see it. I'm a visual person.
Through the chair.
Yes.
So if the recommendation, Mr. Muse, is to, let's move this to a work item on F, then since we're changing the agenda, we'll need to make a vote on this.
Yes.
Well, not necessarily. I think the way you could go is you can just, there's no motion on this item as moved now. And then when you talk about F, you just add it to your work plan, right? Like if that's how you want to proceed it, right? After we discuss all those items in there. And but just keep in mind that when that is get presented to council, there are things that may or may not fall off. So that wouldn't necessarily be a given.
So you're saying that we could put this on our work plan and the council may not approve it?
Depending on whatever else is on there, right? Like, like they do have the ultimate discretion on what stays on, what stays off.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure I understood that that's what you were saying.
So there's a risk. If we don't put it on the work plan, then this is a separate item and it's more likely to be funded rather than if we put it on the work.
You're still pulling it out of that same pocket of money.
It's a gamble. We should do that.
Yeah, we
Okay.
can't, we're not gonna ever get anywhere if we don't try.
And then another thing that the commission could do is think about when we put together the work plan, right? It could be something that you want to identify specifically just for your commission, if you'd like, right? And put that in your budget specifically. Like each commission does get $3,500 for commission expenses, things like that. And if that commission wants to put that in their, 25, 26 budget through the city as part of their, use that as part of your consumables for other things that go on, then that is something that the commission could do. Which is where I would gather that your name tags and things like that have come from in the past.
So let me make sure I understood what you said. You said just order the jackets just for our commission and have it come out of our fund that we're already allocated by city council.
You could do that, but you would have to put it in next year's budget when we start developing next year's budget in the next month or two, right? And I would work with you as we start to develop that budget and make sure like, $3,500, this is what part of that money's going to go for. So that would be something that the commission could do. And we wouldn't have to have that discussion now, right? We could have that discussion as we're putting together the budget.
But we could still ask this, we could still put it on our work plan now. If they don't approve it, then we could add it to our budget for next year.
Yes and no, because we need to start developing the budget now.
Can we put it on our work plan and put it on our budget and then strike it from our budget if the city council approves it?
Yes.
Let's do that.
I just say we move forward and put on that work plan and talk about it a little bit.
Okay. Moving forward. One other question. Does our business cards come out of that 3,500?
Business cards should just come out of the overall stationary budget, but let me double check it because it may come out of that too. That may be part of like the supplies for the commission.
You got it. Okay, thank you. All right, let's go to, public comment. All right, public comment is closed. We will go to 6D, discuss having the city's marketing company create a video for the commission to highlight completed projects and to fill vacancies on the commission.
So this was an item that came from Commissioner Meyer. We were having a discussion on finding out ways to kind of promote the commission and I think highlight a lot of the good stuff that everything's been, the commission's been doing. So I let her know that the city does have a program or a company that we contract with that does a lot of videos already for us. They've done PSAs for the police department. They've done it for public works department. They've done it for Seaside Stars. They do media releases and it's not just videos. So we kind of discussed it, I think, a little bit at the last event we were at for the city manager. And so here we are. We have that here for something for discussion.
That's exactly right, if I may.
Yes.
So I just wanted to, when I saw at the event that they had the videographer there, I just think it would be a good idea if you guys agree to highlight some of the things that this commission is doing to improve Seaside and to let the residents know to come to us with their ideas, to come to our meetings if they have ideas on improving the city and just showing some of the things that we've already done. What do y'all think?
Yes, Commissioner.
Oh, thank you. For this, so is the idea to have this video on our website or maybe, the city council meetings with the part where what's happening, the news, there's that section. Where would it be shown is my question.
So this video can be shown in a variety of different ways. It could be put on the website. It could specifically be put on the Roads and Commission page underneath the NIC. It could be pushed out on social media. It really depends on how you would like to do it. Part of it could be twofold, really. It could be they could come out and take footage of completed projects. Right? You want to highlight the recommended projects that the commission put out there, and it goes in a look at all the utility boxes. It looks at all, the murals and things of that nature. It could also be used as a recruiting tool, right? There could be testimonials from each commissioner on what they've been doing for this commission. Some of their, wins and successes that you have when you're really trying to, we had an item on the agenda probably 2 meetings ago about filling the vacancy, right? We have one vacancy on this commission, and it's really just getting the word out to the community on what this commission actually does. So that way it may create some buzz, this is a unique opportunity, I think, to take advantage of why we have this, kind of contract going on. We have it through the remainder of the year. So we could probably get them on the books and come out and do, they do a lot of good work, for the city. And, the video would probably be no more than 3 minutes. But it can be pushed out in a variety of different ways.
I like all the things that you said, and I think we should push it out as many ways as we can. And I was just wondering, do they help with the, you talked about testimonials, do they help with the language, the words that we're going to say, the script? Or do we have to come up with our own script?
They could, but I think it really would come up more,
It's from our own words?
yeah, like some more authentic. If they could ask you questions like, hey, I'm just spitballing here, what is, what are some of your most prideful moments being on the NIC? Right. And then let you get into that. Why are you in this? Why do you want to serve on this commission? You answer those questions. And I think that really, you really want to sell the commission when you're trying to recruit people.
Yeah.
And I think just I see the joy in all your faces when, we have the completed projects come to fruition and, knowing that like, hey, we had a part in that mural being put on the wall or those new utility boxes out there. So I think really that's where it's going to come from.
For sure.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
How do you do?
Ramona?
Oh, yeah, I concur.
So what's the next step, Dan? If we want to do this, we take a vote and say, yes, we're in agreement. We want to work on this, or what's the next step?
So if the commission, votes to approve this, then I would reach out to them and let them know, hey, Neighborhood Improvement Commission would like to make a video, you know, and they want to highlight some of the projects that they've recommended for approval. And then they're also looking at recruiting new commissioners. How do we want to put this together? So then once I get feedback from them, they'd want to schedule a meeting to kind of talk over some, you know, what it looks like, you know, so they can put together a schedule. I want to meet with the chair, the vice chair, or whatnot. And depending if we want to get testimonials from all the commissioners, then we would have to schedule that. I'm going to probably be in here. You know, we could do it in the afternoon. They do come from San Jose, so it would take you, we'd have to schedule, you know, plenty of, give them advance notice. But we could probably try and do it on a day maybe where they're already going to be in town for doing another project.
A ballpark cost? Yeah, you know.
We're on a retainer with them, so it wouldn't cost the commission anything. So we're basically just utilizing their service in another capacity. That's what makes this so unique right now, is because we're already paying them for other work. We pay them on a monthly basis, regardless if we do 10 things or if we do nothing. So it makes sense to try and maximize the use we have from them.
Sounds like a no-brainer to me.
Perfect. So I motion to do, Oh.
Public comment? Public comment is closed.
I would like to make a motion. I motion to do that then, what Mr. Mewis said, which was getting with the company and seeing when they can come out, and then schedule with commissioners a date when they could be interviewed, and then have our projects either photographed or videoed to put in our PSA.
I'll second it.
Okay,
All in favor?
all in favor?
Aye.
And nays? It passes. Unanimous. Okay. 6E is to discuss the possible loss of TOT funds allocated to the commission. Back.
So for those, the commission that are not aware, at the last city council meeting, there was a robust discussion on short-term rental fund or the transient occupancy tax. And for everyone listening, right now, the way transient occupancy tax is received from the city from all the short-term rentals, and it's just short-term rentals. It has nothing to do with hotels or the other ways that the city comes in here. It's everyone that rents on Airbnb or VRBO, those websites. So right now, all the tax that comes in for those funds gets funneled to the city, and then 10% pays for admin costs. And then after that 10% is taken out, 50% is allocated for the Affordable Housing Fund. And then the other 50% comes to the NIC for recommendations on your projects. So at the last council meeting, there was like I said, a robust discussion on that funding. You know, the finance director came and gave a report, how much money has been allocated over the since the inception of when that tax was put into the ordinance. And ultimately the council decided to bring it back with revisions for the ordinance, which should be coming back at the April 17th meeting. And so what they came up with was that 50% would stay with affordable housing, 35% would stay with NIC, and then 15% would stay with the city council for projects that they would like to see. So when you think about that as a dollar amount, it's projected that this year the NIC would get roughly around $400,000. With the current allocation. And then if the revised allocation gets approved, then that would drop it to about 280. So that's kind of what that difference would be if with the current numbers. Just so for some context, like if it comes back to the council on the 17th for an ordinance review, and they approve that first reading, it has to come back for a second reading, the next meeting. And then if it's approved at the second reading, then it would go into effect 30 days after. So if you're just doing that math, we're looking at April 17th, May 1st, and then 30 days after, you're looking at right at the end of May. So it would go into effect June 1st, which would then go into effect really for the next budget year. So it would affect item F of what we're working on and kind of where we are with those allocations. That's kind of, I don't really have much more information other than that it was a discussion and staff was directed to bring back the amended ordinance based off that direction from the city council.
One question, so if we go ahead with what we are proposing to the council to approve, that this goes through, then who, if we don't do it, does the council then pick and choose what comes off of the list for funding?
It's gonna, what the commission, we're talking about I don't want to get into item F
Okay,
because we're on E right now. So really, we just need to kind of stick to, this discussion on here, and then I can answer that when we get there.
yes,
Can I just clarify that you said that if those top funds are, it's becomes a loss to us, it will affect the plans that we're working on right now, the projects that we're working on right now, if indeed that comes through?
It would potentially lower the allocation of what we're anticipating. Right now, it's anticipated to be right around $350,000 to $400,000, which is similar to what the trend has been over the last couple of years. Even though in that report, it was also identified that the TOT funds is in a decline and we are not where we were the year before. So that's where there's a little fluctuation in there. Things could pick up by the end of by the end of this quarter. So that's why we're still kind of banking on it will be somewhere probably within that 350 to 400 if it stays where it is now.
Do you know what the council's, do you know what the council's intentions are for that 15%? What, do you know why, what, and can you talk about that or not?
From what I was gathering, they just wanted to have a little more. I think they wanted, without contradicting what the commission is doing and, saying yes and no to projects and then putting their own projects in, they wanted to make sure that they had their own little bucket that they could recommend their own projects without taking it away from you. Right. So I think what we've seen in the past is the commission recommends projects. And there's a handful of there that gets removed and then it gets replaced with some projects from the city council. So this essentially is kind of taking that piece out and giving them their own kind of bucket that they can recommend their projects from, and then it wouldn't necessarily come from where you are already recommending.
So what I'm hearing is that everything that we propose would be pre-approved, if you will, because they want that 15% for theirs, and they say, okay, you can do whatever you want because
Exactly.
now we have our 15%.
Yeah.
I can't answer that.
And that 15%, is it going to be to beautify the neighborhoods?
Yes, it will be for the same functions as what it's currently already being used for.
Mayor Chair.
yes.
So I heard what you said, but it sounds like a lot of misinformation because not from you, nothing against you, but they already have control of all these funds. And I hear that you say that they don't want to disapprove or approve and go through that, but that is the dance that we do every year. That is the whole purpose. We come up with the recommendations that we have vetted from our own from what our own commission has come up with and the other commissions, and we bring them to city council. And city council, as elected officials, decide what they're going to approve and what they're not going to approve on. So why they would take 15% of that to arbitrarily do something at cross purposes, possibly with what we're doing, makes no sense to me. It makes no sense. And I am really unhappy about this chain of events. Very unhappy, for the record. And I think it's very misleading of the city council.
Through the chair.
Yes.
So, I've been on commissions and on the city council long enough to know that we can't discuss another items on the agenda under a certain, a previous, I guess we're on previous to that.
Yeah.
But it's really difficult to talk about this or without appreciating item F, because if we're talking difference between 280,000 possible 400, that's a 30% difference. That slims down our list severely. So I'm not even sure what we're able to talk about on item E, the possible loss. It's there. The loss is possibly there. And then if it comes, then we're just dealing with the less amount of money.
And so the way I put it up on the staff report, or, on the agenda tonight was, we had a request to talk about it, so that's why we're here, we're talking about it. And I put it before we talked about F, so that way the commission could talk about it and have an understanding that, hey, this may be coming down. So that way, when we talk about the work plan and the projects, you have in the back of your mind, like, hey, there's a chance we may not have the full amount that we're used to. And maybe we need to have plan A and plan B just in case. So I was really trying to set the commission up in a way to have, facilitate that discussion.
Yeah, I see that.
I-
And I
Can I
appreciate
say,
that.
I think a lot of people are shocked that we went from $60,000 in 1 year of TOT to 400,000. No one thought Airbnb was going to be this big. I mean, from just talking to other people, they're just shocked that we're getting $400,000 NIC. And then the other 400 goes to the affordable housing. So people are making changes and they have the right to do that. The mayor and the council, they do. And it's going to be what it is. So I brought it up because I want us to prepare ourselves to advocate for our best projects rather than, having all the smaller ones. And I wanted to do that.
Good thinking.
Yeah,
I-
because,
That's wise.
it's a huge amount of money that we could lose, that we will lose, because it looks like it's going to happen.
And then in addition to there was another item at the last meeting for us to get into a contract with VRBO. Because the way it works now is that we are only collecting the tax from Airbnb. So Airbnb has a contract with us, so they're doing all the legwork and they're collecting the taxes and submitting it to the city. Anyone that was using or VRBO or any other kind of online platforms, we would have to go and do that ourselves. And whether or not we were able to collect those taxes we may not have been getting all the money that we would have. So now we entered into agreement with VRBO and it's completely free. So now they're going to be doing that same thing that Airbnb was doing. So it's perceived that there could be more money coming that we weren't getting in the past. So
We may have a shortage this coming up this fiscal year, but who knows? Next year, we may end up at 400,000 again, just because we're collecting, we're making sure we're getting all the taxes that we should be getting.
that's very true. So I think I think depending on the state of the economy and the way people want to travel and whatnot and come to Seaside, we always knew that this was going to be a fluctuating path. The last few years has been really good and we've seen that. Like I said in the beginning, we've seen a kind of a trend that it's going down. However, things could change and it could ramp back up again. So there is, always that potential. So, yeah.
And Ray's right. City council is going to do what city council is going to do, and we need to prepare for that.
Through the chair.
Yes.
So even though we're aware of E, we can still propose all of our ideas, projects. I mean, even if they go up to 390, whatever we're allotted, we can still propose them because we don't know what they're going to do. We can still propose $390,000, whatever the amount is, of projects, right? We can still do that. Then we have the right to say, well, that's, I'm not following that. I don't understand, maybe. We still have that right, correct?
Yes. However, because of the timing, and if it goes to the schedule that I kind of, laid out, there will still be, in the middle will be June, right? And we still will not have adopted the budget. So we would know what that allocation would be with the new percentage, potentially. So I would recommend that you have which could be, with the assumption that we don't have, or that there's going to be no change, right? You have A, the assumption with that. And then you have B, assumption with the change. So that way we have two ready to go. We won't have to have a special meeting to come back with more plans, right? We're kind of we're taking care of it all right now. If that makes sense.
It makes sense to me.
Thank you.
Through the chair.
Yes.
So given that, and again, I'm just going to, I'm going to not refer, but I'm going to just bring up item F again. So given that, I say that we just move on, and under our next item, we work as if we with the knowledge we had last time in the projects we had listed, the ones we were tasked with coming back with wanting to possibly eliminate, given the budget that we thought and we might still have.
I agree. So
I
we're
agree
working
with
on
that.
two plans, right?
We'll discuss that when we get to F,
Okay.
So,
public comment.
public comment? Okay.
Hi, thank you very much. I promised myself I wasn't going to speak, but anyway, so my understanding, and it's just my understanding, your job is the recommending body, whatever that number is. The council, and let's say you recommended 297,000. And I'll use this as a bad example where you recommended $5,000 in baseball hats. I would not support that. So they could have, and if there were two others that didn't support baseball hats, they would not, therefore the baseball hats would not happen.
Right.
Therefore, they would increase the allocation of the 15% to 17%. If, let's say you recommended a volleyball court at Laguna Grande Park, and that cost for $275,000. The council says that's a horrible idea, therefore they would have 100%. So, and that was my understanding. I'm not saying I'm correct, but that was my understanding because you are a recommending body. You are not an authoritarian body. And that's from my, and the bottom line, you are, all commissions are recommend. So if the council does not like the recommendation based on any commission, I believe they could change those recommendations and create their own recommendations, or we can create our own recommendations. And just the bottom line, and I'm probably going out of perspective. What a good thing might you do for the council is to recommend how the money should be allocated, so that way everybody's following the same rules, because, you know, if it's for social services, is it for meat and potatoes, is it for dinner for all residents in the city of Seaside, whatever it be. So therefore, there is a defined use of the funds. I mean, I know what it is to me, and that won't change. But the council, the commission, if there was a better understanding of what it was allocated for, everybody would be on the same page, whatever that be. Just a thought, and I probably shouldn't have said that, but something that this commission has thought about in the past. Thank you.
Thank you.
Diane Nielsen. I'm confused. I thought it was 15% that the council wanted. 15%. That's not 280,000, right? Half of 400, if you have $400,000, 15% of $400,000 is not, it's about $60,000. All right, am I incorrect there? I would like to know where my math went wrong. So if you could answer that question when I'm done, I'd appreciate it. I don't think you should give the city council any help on what they're trying to do. I think you should submit your plans of what you're recommending and let them deal with the fallout or whatever comes from that. I just don't believe that they have a valid or have expressed a really valid idea other than power for having the money in their own hands and not having to don't have to go through the commission so they can, you know, get the slaps on the back. And it's really unfair, and it's not right. They haven't expressed why they decided they wanted to do this. Nobody's said specifically, well, we want to do this because of this. They have this general, well, we want to be able to do this too. What does that mean? Is there something that they're holding back, that there's something they want to do? They could have talked to you guys about what they wanted to do. I think there is not enough there's not enough staff to commission guidance and leadership that is needed. You've been without it or without various ones for over like 2 years now, and you have not had the kind of guidance you need. And that is kind of hamstringing you in a way also. I talked to the city of Monterey, and they start, their NIC starts submitting things in November. It takes them 5 months to come to the city council for a final decision. They give you what, 2 months? 3 months at the very most? It's not a good system. And nobody's willing to rework it other than the city council wanting to do their own thing. I appreciate what you do. I think it should remain this way, and I hope you fight for it. You could ask the city council what they would like the city of Monterey does. You know, they talk to the engineers about what they need, and they communicate. Oh, so you need this. Well, we'd like to support that project. You know, the Public Works comes to you and says, do you have 250,000 for us to do this? It makes much more sense than having the city council take 15% of your money and more going down the road for them to sort of commiserate about what they want to see happen with that money, because they do have the power in the end anyhow. It doesn't make sense. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
This answer the question about the money, that was the estimated number I got from finance on what we would probably be at if council took it based off our current projections. Would be roughly around 280.
But that doesn't exactly add up, because even Diana's right, Miss Nielsen's right. When I did 15% of 400,000, that's only 60. So, and 60 from 400 leaves us 320, not 280.
Going off. If my math was off, I'm sorry about that, but we're looking at probably based off what finance told me, it's going to be right around 280 when you take off the administrative fees and things that.
Oh, I see.
That's all part of it. So I put this together quickly and I'm sorry for the mistake.
It's okay. I just wanted to, I didn't no worries.
Public comment is closed. Okay. So let's move on to 6F. Okay, I think it's time to go into that and figure out. I like the plan A and plan B. Most likely plan B is where we're going to be going. From what I've heard.
I'm sorry, Chair, where are you?
On the
Plan A and B.
6. Yeah,
What's the title of that?
I was going to read that. Yeah. 6F is review proposed projects, draft work plan, and make final recommendations to submit to the city council.
Chair, you were referring to Plan A and B, so I didn't.
That's what our liaison was talking about, having a plan A and B, because the city council only needs 3 votes. And it's by the rules that when they first did the Airbnbs, that they can do this with 2 readings. And the pot's being stirred for 6 months, I think, of discussion. I brought it up to our commission before, and they're going to pull this. They're going to do this. I just don't see why they wouldn't if they want to do their own thing. And so I just think we need to be proactive and make sure we have on our list to submit to them what we are really going after, that we would like to see done.
Through the chair.
Yes.
So on the list of projects, proposed projects, prior to a final vote that we had from last time, there were a lot of costs that we had asked for and then they're missing. So it's going to be kind of hard to move forward and discuss without some of those costs. So I'm wondering if staff could provide some of those.
So I did update in the staff report. I put the updated, was in the packet with the updated costs. I'll pull them up on the screen in a second for everyone to see. But I also wanted to kind of get into one thing that I wanted to try and get the commission to really focus and have is it's always been identified the work plan, right? The work plan for this commission has kind of always been identified as your recommended projects. There's no real document, right? Work plan document. So what I did is I put together with the help of Jennifer here, we took our Parks and Recreation Commission work plan document and I created one for the commission. So that should be in your packet. I think you have it here titled work plan draft. So really this, if you go through this, right, it has the mission statement, the people, the historical background of the commission, the objectives, which is really, this is just coming right out of the website. And then you have your work plan. So Seaside Neighborhood Improvement Commission desires and encourages community participation in the decision-making process. So we have our goals and objectives, right? So we look at the goals, solicit, gather, review, and endorse other commission projects, ideas that will improve, beautify, unify the city. You have your proposed activities, the ranking, timeline for completion, June 30th, right? Because that's when the fiscal year ends. Promote public input as you're trying to work on your projects, collaborate with other commissions and local nonprofits, biannual community cleanup days. We already talked about those earlier. House of the month, 20-year projects, and business of the quarter. And here we add, we have some of the prior year accomplishments and then your ongoing projects. So really, I just wanted to have a document that we would submit in addition with your recommendation list for the council when we do the budget. So that really, right, like you can have historical record of what the commission does, what you're really working on, because you are doing more, your work plan does consist of more than actually soliciting the projects, right? You House of the Month, your things that you're doing, right? And we want to make sure that we're memorializing that in something other than that. So that's why I just wanted to make sure the commission had this document. So we can talk a little bit about it. If there's anything you want to see in it, you want to change it, make edits, and then I can revise it as we get going. But I wanted just to share this with the commission and let you know that I put this together with hopes that commission was okay with it and to have something that we can always go back to. And then that way, next year, whenever, 20 years from now, they can look and say, hey, look at what the, 25, 26 work plan was, and we can build off that. So Jennifer, if you want to pull up. Looks like it's going to be the first one on your left, right there. And I would try and get maybe a little. All right, so here we go. We're looking at the costs associated here. All right. So welcome to Seaside Sign, every language that hasn't changed. We're still looking at $100,000. Also I did here is I condensed it. That initial one had multiple repeats. It had bike racks on there multiple times. It had benches and things like that. So what I did is I just put numbers in based off the anticipation, and we can go back and we can tweak this to try and get us back down. Okay, so 6 benches, and then I put, so there was talk on Eucalyptus Road, ADA compliant in the neighborhoods and parks. So we including Highland and Otis, Lincoln Cunningham, Pichetto, and Capra. 10 benches, $4,500 each, $45,000. We have enhanced beach entrances to make it Instagram-worthy photo opportunity. We talked about a variety of different ways here. So I put in $80,000 because that costs, if we discuss potential murals or whatever, anything that we're going to look in that, it's going to be probably pretty pricey to get into that. So like having, a good amount of funds for that, and then we can kind of revisit what that's going to look like. And I think we just need to have an idea of like the dollar amounts of what we're going to be. New tables at Olamar, 20 tables at $350, $7,000. With the welcome banners, 7 languages. So those are $60 each. So at $20, we're looking at $1,200. Electronic bulletin board, City Hall facing Canyon Del Rey, that's $50,000. So that would include the sign, installation, and the power that hooking up to the power. We have the events for the nonprofits, 5,000. Funding an app. This is one I couldn't find a lot of information about because I don't know what the details would be. But the estimated cost for an app is right around anywhere from $3,000 to $100,000, depending on what you want it to be. So I picked 10,000 would probably be a good starting point if that's something that the commission wanted to really look into. But it's kind of vague on what we were trying to get at with that, right? I think that ask came from a member of the community, so we wanted to look into it. But without having any knowledge on building apps or what were the significance of it, it would be a little challenging. So there was still probably a little more refinement. We need to go into that. We have the add wheelchair accessibility at the benches on general gym, so that's just adding some extra concrete, $2,000 for each one, so to do two. So we're looking at 4,000. With your friendly lights at Roberts Lake, so usually roughly about $1,000 each. You will have a variety of different ways. It can be solar or whatnot. Solar would be ideal, and then there would be more like bollards, and then the lights face down towards the ground. The challenge we would see with that is you put these lights in areas like that. It doesn't get a lot of normal foot traffic in the evening. I could see potential for vandalism and things like that, especially in areas where people want it to stay dark. Right? We could put them in. However, unless there's a lot of monitoring going on, it would be something we really have to look into.
That happened before?
There used to be lights at Laguna Grande.
Oh, they've been taken out?
They've been, I mean, you can go and you can find the remnants of them. They've never been working since I've been here. I think even in some of the parks, you see them. Heck, even the lights at Oldemire Center outside, people break those because they want the parking lot dark. Right, so we're constantly having to go in there and fix them. So I mean, it's just something something you need to keep in the back of your head, right? Like we can put them in, but we're going to have to probably have a plan for replacement because it's bound to happen, unfortunately. Okay, so paint house numbers on the curb, so roughly $25 a house. So we're looking at, I just put a number in, 25 or 250. We're looking at 6,250. More wraps and electrical boxes. If we do 1,700, we're at 8,500. More murals. We know the murals are roughly around $15,000. So we'll have one mural in here at 15. We can go either way, up or down, however we want to do it. Paint all the fire hydrants. So again, that's about $25 a hydrant. Fire department let me know that there are 400 in the city. So we're looking at about 10 grand if we want to do all of them. And just a reminder, they all have to stay yellow. Solar powered charging stations at one of our parks. So we know that those are roughly around 7,000 after the last meeting. The lockers for personal items, 6 per tower. So it's about $1,000 for that 6 tower. So if we wanted to do 6 or 2 of the 6 and give us 12 lockers, we're at $2,000. Bike racks. So the bike racks are about around 1,300 each. So if we do 5 or 6,500, shade structure at Lincoln Cunningham is 50. Adult recreation equipment's around 150 when we think about the installation and everything. Depending on the location, we would have to identify that, make sure it's suitable. 2,500 for the Powell Basketball Partnership. The Art Focus Block Party, we're at 5. Community Mural Art Wall is 10. I guess I didn't remove that utility box, so that was a double there. So let me take this one out. Laguna Grande Park bench replacement and addition. So this is what we talked about, where the rentable spot is. So it's about $5,000 to replace those, picnic benches to make sure we have enough. And if we were about 8, would get us back to where we are now. So we're looking at about 40. The grandstand gazebo, Laguna Grande, 75,000. Canyon Del Rey median landscaping, about 25,000. And then to do the sky view outlook landscaping to make it more of like a pocket park, we're at 50,000. Signage for the National Monument at 10. Help fund Seaside's annual Earth Day at 15. The Welcome to Seaside sign on General Gym, 15. $2,000 for a consultant to identify the mural location. And that brings us to a grand total with all of these items at $813,000.
Some of those we can put over for next year. Those that we don't decide upon this year, we could maybe shift them over to next year and we have, we can make it ongoing. Eliminate those that we absolutely, none of us want. And then maybe the ones that we don't think will pass this year, maybe we could just forward them to next year as a starting point. We can add to it, but as a starting point.
Chair,
Yes.
can we go through this list and just say yay or nay real quick, so the ones we do not, absolutely don't want, we can get rid of? Or how should we start this, Chair?
I just want to also, it does also include the 10,000 for the trees.
Oh, the tree giveaway.
Can I ask a question about those tree giveaway?
Yes.
Do they check to see if the person is actually a resident of Seaside before they give the tree away to them?
Yes, we do.
And there is a limitation, right? Only 1 or 2 trees per person?
Tree per household
1 tree per house
per year.
per year. Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
You put, on our ongoing projects, you put down the tree giveaway program, but is it? Or because every year we have to put it onto this?
So it's a draft. I was just putting things on here, so however we want to, refine it. Because it is still something that it is ongoing, because this is the 3rd year, right, that we're pushing it forward. But I still think that it hasn't necessarily been established where we know 100% for sure that money's going to be there.
I like the idea of us just going through, crossing off the ones that we don't really care for. And
Where's that list? Where's that list? that we have?
I had from my old, from last meeting.
Shoot. I'll just lump that.
You want me to run real quick and we can open up
Please.
public comment? I can make a couple copies.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Thank you.
Public comment?
I thought Jennifer was gonna make
I
a
did
public
too.
comment.
But Jennifer was getting up there to make a statement.
I'm a citizen.
Okay.
I'm here as a private citizen and I'm gonna. No,
All right. Public comment close? Okay. So while we're waiting, are we in agreement to do Plan A and Plan B? Or do we want to put it all in the hopper at Plan A? And then if the money goes away, they make the decision.
This is what I think, and I think I said it last time. I think that we should make a priority list, and our priority list, includes all of the things that we really would like to see done. And then whatever they eliminate. So if they eliminate anything below over 280,000 or, whatever the amount ends up being, they eliminate those. Or because whatever happens, they're going to eliminate things that they don't like. So even if we put something as number 1, let's say we put the benches on eucalyptus as our number 1 priority, just for example, and they eliminate that because they don't like it, well, then it'll automatically go down to the next thing on the bottom of, in our priority line. And then, but even if they don't accept any of our recommendations, they're going to take all of it. So I think we should just submit all of our projects
Thanks, Dan.
I agree.
and then just let them decide what they want.
Double sign. Okay.
Thank you, Dan. But we put them in priority order.
Thank you. Okay, let's go.
Okay, with that statement that Commissioner just stated, I need to reiterate that coming to the council and showing that we hear what they're saying, we are proposing this is what we can live with than letting them cut, because they might cut one of the most important ones. You know, like Laguna Grande's gazebo and park bench, the park benches. Let's say that's our number one, but they just cut that out because, you know, someone didn't like it. But if we only have 4 or 5 items on our list that adds up to, let's say, $280,000, we really can't cut much because that's our funds.
Right.
But if you open it up and say, here's $400,000 worth of stuff, they'll start chewing it up. I'm a firm believer you don't give options when you're fighting over a budget. This, you know, you kind of narrow it down as far as you can. And because
Then we get
know their
nothing.
hand.
Then we get nothing in the end because,
Yeah,
right?
we do.
No, because we don't know what they want. We have no clue what they want. We have no clue what each of these city council members wants.
Oh,
Okay, maybe you do, but I have no
let
clue.
me say this.
And
They've
so,
already said they're gonna take 15%.
right,
Okay, that's a done deal.
but that doesn't mean that they're gonna approve 35% of our recommendations.
Chances are good.
It doesn't. They didn't approve all of our recommendations last year.
Well,
Through-
go
Through the
ahead.
chair. Okay, well, right now, this list is double what the budget, so we have to do some slitting.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's 821,000. We're told right now that it's at most 400,000, 397, 400,000. So it's more than double than what we're going to have to propose. So let's get this.
Let's start reading them off.
Yeah.
If everybody's game for that, and we'll just go from there. Welcome to Seaside in every language at Broadway and Fremont intersection painting.
No,
No,
I'm a yes.
someone keeping track?
Okay, well,
How
are we
did-
doing, are we voting individually?
Oh,
Hmm.
Because right now, we,
well, more,
I think what we need to, you gotta have a quorum for each one, or not a quorum, but like majority vote.
Yeah.
On whether or not you want to pull it off or not.
yeah.
we should do it that way. Majority rules.
Is someone keeping track?
We will, yeah, so if we go like first one, all right, so
3-1.
is that what it was?
Yeah.
Let's do it again so I can hear.
No,
Yes.
So let me ask a question. So for each one of these, if we're to make it, what do we have to, there has to be a motion in the second?
No, I think what we're doing is I just want to, not necessarily motion and second, I just need to know where the commission lies on it, because if it's 3-1, okay, we know we can strike that, right? If it's 2-2, we can come back to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So what was your vote? No. Okay, no. So 3-1. All righty, the next one, 4 benches on Eucalyptus Road that ADA compliant and in neighborhoods and parks around existing playground equipment, Highland Otis, Lincoln Cunningham, Pichetti, and Capra.
Yes.
yes,
I like this. So just so the commission, so right now we have 10 budgeted for this, right? Right.
Right.
So if we can lower the numbers of mentions that we want and figure that out too.
Yeah.
And this is one of those ones that has some fluctuation.
yeah, can I
Okay.
just, side note, just because I know that Pachetti is already coming out of FOSPA funds, so that's exactly what you said. I mean, it's gonna fluctuate. Granted, you put down 10 benches, but
We can leave it as is and we can.
We can come back to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's leave it as is, I think.
So that's 4.
Okay. I think everyone said 4.
Yeah. Enhance beach entrance, make it a Instagram worthy photo opportunity.
no.
Yes.
No.
No.
You're keeping track of this? Okay. New tables at Odermeyer, 10, 8-foot and 6-foot tables.
No,
No.
Can I ask a question? Why do you say no to that, Ramona? Can you do you mind?
Because I think those funds could be I think that money can come from a different funding from the city. I think
Okay,
The city should be providing that, not Nick.
okay.
Right, so no.
Okay.
No,
Welcome banners in 7 languages, 20 each.
Yes,
That's when we're 20, we need 20.
I would like to say that when I was listening to the city council meeting, one of the guys said specifically, I think it was, not Jared, right? Not Jared? I don't, it was the man who's in charge of economic development, Jose. Jose said that they couldn't do the welcome banners because he was talking about economic development. And he wasn't talking about economic banners specifically, but he said they couldn't do banners because they needed specific poles. You didn't hear that? Or did I misunderstand that?
So I'll tell you right now, we have banners that we put up that say, welcome back Otters. We have banners that say, congrats graduates. We have holiday banners.
Oh.
So we put up banners throughout, and those banners go, we do the welcome back Otters and the congrats graduates. We put them on right here on Canyon Del Rey. And we put them on Del Monte. And then the holiday banners go, I think, on Fremont.
yeah.
Yeah.
So is there a time period when the welcome banners could go up in between those other times when you have the congratulations graduates and otter and the whatever welcome otters or whatever?
I think what you yes, or we could, it doesn't have to be 20. I just put a number in there. But it could be as much as like, hey, you know what, maybe we just want to put the banners on the light poles that are immediately
There,
entering the city,
that's right.
right? So like we're talking maybe 8.
8.
When you're thinking, right, you can think on Fremont or Del Monte when you come in from Monterey. You could put them on Del Monte and Fremont when you're coming from Canyon Del Rey from Highway 1, right? So
Yeah, I like that idea.
I mean, that could be the recommendation, right? Like those could just stay up.
All the time until you had a
It's
special
like
function.
either the ones on Monterey that they shop.
Good point, yeah.
Stay on the ground, except during holidays when they put the holiday.
We should have some banners that go with the car shows. On Broadway and all that, people coming in with,
I agree.
welcome. Something about the cars, but,
Okay, next.
so what's the vote?
I like that, but less number. Maybe
8.
Let's make it 10.
We in agreement with 10.
Yes,
Yes,
Yes.
electronic bulletin board at City Hall facing Canyon Del Rey.
yes,
No.
No.
Yes,
Okay, that one, we're at a tie, so we will come back to that one.
501Cs, invite nonprofits to educational events, send a mailer to every residence.
No.
No.
no,
Okay. Funding an app informing Seaside residents that events are going on.
No.
No. Add wheelchair accessibility to the benches on general gym order. You have 2 down for that.
I have a question. Is that a requirement? Do we have to do that?
yeah,
Technically, yes, right? Like, you don't wanna have, we could get away with 1. Right, because if we put something new in, it should be ADA accessible. You don't wanna have something that is only accessible to certain people, because if someone comes by in a wheelchair, I'm like, well, I can't take advantage of this beautiful feature right there.
So with that said, I think we should reduce it to just one on general gym more to be ADA compliant.
Yeah, I
Suggest
agree.
pick one that-
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
So yes.
Yes.
yes,
Yes, for me too.
nature-friendly light, oh, sorry,
Bring it down to.
nature-friendly lights on Laguna and Roberts Lake,
Hmm.
$1,000 each. Be 10 of them.
I just put that number in there too.
Yep.
I don't know, based
have a
on,
question.
Yes.
Roberts Lake and Laguna Grande?
That was the
Proposal.
original ask.
Cause that Roberts Lake is like, no. Laguna Grande, yeah. So I don't know how you wanna look, oh, but you just got through telling us
Gotcha.
it doesn't actually,
they don't last.
yeah, don't last,
Yeah.
so,
Seems like wasting money.
yeah,
I'd say
never
no.
mind,
I'd say no too.
no.
Okay. Paint house numbers on the curb for all homes with curbs. No.
No,
I say no to that too.
More wraps on electric boxes.
yes.
Yes.
Yes,
More murals everywhere. That'd be just one,
yeah,
okay?
Yes,
I say yes.
Paint all fire hydrants with a fresh coat of paint.
no,
No. Are you updating that right now? Yes. It's on the flyer. Sorry.
Like going too
It's okay.
fast.
Just take the one that said no. Remove the dollar amount. And see. So that way it will update the cost on the bottom. Just zero the. I just wanted, so we, wait, and we can keep that.
That sounds good.
Solar power,
Wait,
Howard, oh,
wait,
sorry.
I didn't get a chance to say, I say no to paying off fire hydrants. I had a question about it before I say no. Will the city do that? Isn't that something the city would normally do?
I'm sure we could at some point, yes.
all right.
Okay,
the fire department usually
Has
does it
money?
when they're slow or they got rookies.
okay, I say no to that then, based on that information.
That's how other cities that I've been involved with, that rookie gets to go out there and paint.
Yes.
Yes,
Solar, solar power charging stations at one of our parks.
but I have another question on that. Do you think that that would be vandalized as the lights are vandalized at Laguna?
Oh, no, I see that as similar to, I put bike repair stations at the parks, and I put one like here, at Holdemeyer and things like that. 1 out of the 5 I put up has been vandalized, but really what it was is that they wanted the tools that were on there, so they found a way.
I don't know, man.
Right, depending on the park that you put it at, right, I think it could be, beneficial, and maybe. And you know, I'm just throwing this out here, right, maybe it's something that's put maybe at this one. Even at Ross Park, right, it doesn't really have any, but right, maybe.
By the library.
Put something there that's here in the parking lot, City Hall,
Police station.
police station, right, it could potentially have a little better, and then, you know, there's something there, right, and, you know.
Great idea.
You have some
Yeah.
benefits, you know,
I
that's
like
just
that.
suggestion, but.
But are we gonna be suggesting the location as well, or were we gonna just,
To me, that would be a good spot to get the ball rolling.
okay,
Cause you have homeless here. It seems like yeah, they're at the library and they're out in the back there. And so
but they can charge at the library, and so,
Not the library closed.
closes.
true that.
No, I like that idea. because-
I go down there
Yeah.
to do that,
So I say yes.
I say yes.
yes,
Lockers for personal items and 6 per tower. Yes.
yes,
No,
Big one.
Yes. Bike racks, multiple requests include Lincoln, Cunningham Park, basketball court, and Solace Park, barbecue area.
can we knock it down to 3? If I vote yes, I would like it down to 3.
I would like to ask, how many bike racks do we need in Seaside? Because we bought quite a bit of them, and I'm around Seaside all the time. I don't see that many bike riders anymore. It's kids dropping off, being dropped off, things like that. I mean, Don't we have bike racks in front of every public building now?
We have bike racks, but the request is for the fancy art ones. That's what these are.
It's to
Oh,
promote
oh.
art and
Okay.
promote bike riding.
And we're trying to become more bike friendly.
Yeah.
First.
Artsy bark friendly.
So if we knock it down, Mr. Mullis?
Yep.
Or commission?
I would say 3.
I'll go with that.
Shade structure at Lincoln Cunningham Park. No.
Yes. Brand new park. They put the paths in. No.
Anybody else?
Lincoln Cunningham shade structure. If any, where's that from?
Yes.
Go to Home Depot and get the Costco.
So, thank you. It depends on the size. We just talked to the building official this morning. So if it's basically under 120 square feet, we don't even need to permit it. So Andres, the Assistant Public Works Director, had kind of selected a couple options. We were talking about the mounting. So, if we're not talking about something so large, I mean, we're really more between the $5,000 and $10,000 range.
Oh.
Yeah, much smaller. And again, it's all a matter of scope, and kind of please accept my apologies, because I prepared a PowerPoint that I slid up to talk about some of the other things to get some ballpark cost on, the crosswalks, what the gazebo or what you might have what you might have in mind for Laguna Grande. So, we can look at those, and those numbers could be adjusted. So
Well, I would say yes, if it's less than 120 square feet.
Is that research though, sir? I mean, did you research that?
Yeah, we spoke with the building official this morning. Yeah,
He or
yeah,
she said,
that's correct. So we wouldn't even have to pull a building permit less than 120 square feet. So.
And we're talking $5,000 to $10,000.
Yeah.
I would be willing to say yes to that.
Yeah, it's basically something that you would get at a Lowe's or a Home Depot or something online if we could get it even cheaper. So, yeah. But we want something durable, of course, that would be anchored into the,
Yeah.
right.
Um,
So that's a yes, more lower.
Yeah, it's a yes.
Yes.
down to 10,001.
Yeah, and that would be 120 square feet or less, but that's still 10 by 12.
it's good
So that's a good size as a starter. Yeah.
Adult recreation equipment.
Like that, I don't like the cross.
I know.
No,
I would say yes.
There were 2-2.
Ty.
Okay, PAL basketball program partnership.
No,
No.
No.
Tiffany?
Did you?
Not yet.
Already agree.
No, it's already 3,
Yeah.
yeah, so,
No,
art focused block party.
There's only 5,000.
I kind of like to have that. I think it would be kind of fun. It could be a recurring thing every year.
I'll say yes to it.
I'll say yes. Community mural wall. Didn't we already have a mural?
So we had one mural that was more focused towards a muralist. This is setting the location and have the community contribute, so multiple people. So the way I believe it was proposed to the commission was that they would buy all the supplies and everything, kind of work through different community members and community groups that would create one mural.
No.
But we would have to find a place to put that.
Yeah.
That's city owned.
Yes.
I don't know that the council would go with that, because that's a lot of ifs that nobody has control over. It's
Yeah.
just a bunch of people deciding what they want.
I say no.
I say no too.
5 utility boxes.
Did Ramona vote on that?
You already have 3, so I don't need to.
Okay.
We have 5 left to do, correct?
think that, yes, and they're working to try and get easements from PG&E to increase market in PG&E one and two.
Oh, good.
Nice.
There may be 8 left,
Okay,
and we have 5.
But didn't we, I'm sorry,
Yes.
I didn't hear.
the utility boxes.
Shouldn't we already do it?
No, no, that wasn't on the list.
Wasn't on the list?
He said we have about 5 to 8 left because they're working with PG&E to get it.
For more.
Yeah.
Oh,
We got-
okay.
The city owns.
I thought we already
more,
approved it.
And then we got 5 here, and then if we do those other 3 at some point, but then we're trying to work with PG&E so we can do there.
Oh, she's right. It's right here. More wraps on electric
So
boxes.
this might have been the one I deleted from out there, and I didn't delete on this one, so it's reprinted.
Okay,
So what should,
but it's a yes.
So
the monies though?
we already have more wraps.
Yeah, we had it 80.
We did from yours, Jennifer. No, there's 2.
So which amount is it? Is it the 8,000 or the 8,500?
Yeah.
Because both have 5, but one has 1,600 and the other has 1,700.
Yeah.
So we should remove the one on the second page then.
Okay, we'll scratch that one. All right. But it's a yes on the ones that on the first page.
So
Okay.
no on the second page?
Well, just
Because we have
scratch
it twice.
it. It's just
Oh.
double that. Laguna Grande Park benches replacement and additions. I say yes.
Thomas, did you have?
Yeah, that, again, that's one of those numbers that when we calculate with the benches, the picnic benches, we actually had $90,000, but that was a replacement of everything in additions. When I spoke with our public works supervisor, we can actually even go lower than 40,000 because the idea is that the ones that were damaged, we would remove those, use those parts to fix the others. So I don't want to recommend things to you, but I mean, we can work with $25,000. So if you're trying to fit within a budget, again, it's all within scope, and there's some that are just not
Yeah, I
repairable,
went over
but we can use the posts.
Some of them are just bad.
Mhm.
The new like composite.
They're the composite ones. So those ones that we cannot fix, we'll remove the parts of those, fix the other ones, and then come back with the composites.
The metal ones are the ones we need.
That's it. That's right. Yeah, and for the 90,000 estimate was to replace everything with the composite, but I mean, that's a large number. So, we can work with a budget as small as $25,000.
Maybe we should keep it at 40. And then that way we have some.
Mhm.
Wiggle room.
Yeah.
Okay. I say yes.
Yes.
I say yes.
Laguna Grande Grandstand Gazebo. I say
Yes.
yes.
Yeah, and this is another one of scope because I looked at several different options, and then originally we were thinking something. We weren't thinking something for the stage, and then there became some discussions about that you bring in a stage. That's my understanding. So, like originally we were thinking more of the gazebos that we were going to be putting up at Lincoln Cunningham Park. So there could be multiple of those. They could be smaller. That's kind of the feedback or the discussion I was looking for.
So you could still do the less than 120 square feet, and we could buy the smaller one and just plant them side by side.
Side by side or over the picnic, specific, you could fit basically 2 benches underneath each one.
So you
Yes.
have the stage that we build or that PW does, and then you had in mind where to put those gazebos.
Yeah, these would be off to the side.
Over the picnic area.
On
Yes,
picnic area.
that's where
Oh.
the envision.
But
And
the
that,
sun just beats down on you, that side,
Mhm.
But I do want
Not
to, I want to,
not by the church,
no. It's over where we rent.
where we at.
But remember last time we talked about not having it being a fully enclosed. it would
Yeah,
be
just slats.
Flats.
They're just slats,
That way we.
correct.
Big impact.
Exactly.
So that's what you had in mind, sir?
Well, and then someone mentioned a grandstand and then it's like, oh, well, did you mean the stage to replace the whole stage? So that number would be probably double the
If
75,000.
we had a stage.
If
would
we
be
had a
double.
stage, yeah.
And do we rent the stage?
No, it's,
No.
it's teleport type, it's a mobile stage.
Oh.
Yeah.
So we have one already that we could use, so,
But the thing was, is I think the intention was that we would have it covered. But since we have to drive the stage on and place it, we wouldn't be able to have that covered because of how high the stage is when it's on the pad. And
Yes.
it needs to be able to maneuver on and off.
Right, so if you wanted to adjust that number lower for the gazebo, I mean, there's almost two products in there, or two ideas in there in the same line.
Gazebo.
Right, gazebos, then we can work with that number and put multiple smaller ones.
Yeah.
Like we're putting at Lincoln Cunningham.
and that would
No.
reduce the amount from 75 to how much?
We're looking at 5 to 10 per, yeah,
So it's-
So.
right.
So you'd be putting up the slatted gazebo or trellis, I guess you'd call
Yeah.
it.
That's
slatting on
correct.
Trellis,
Uh-huh.
and that would be on each side of on the stage?
The pic, just for
I
the,
would say, I would recommend if I were doing this, put one on the smaller side. Where you have two barbecue areas.
Yeah.
You have smaller one, which is closest to the street,
Right,
so maybe you put one trellis there.
okay,
And then on the larger picnic side, closer to the lake with the big barbecue, maybe you
Yeah.
put two there,
okay.
Mhm.
potentially, right?
So then only 3, potentially, based on what you're saying, only 3.
And then if you go on Thomas's numbers of 10, then maybe you cut it down to 30.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that gets rented out.
Yes.
Correct. So I was up in Palo Alto and they rent out this area and they put up poles. And they used those material shades.
the shade structures,
and they
yes.
rent The shade to them and
Mhm.
then they get a deposit. And then when you come back with the shade, they
Mhm.
return it. And they did it that way. I thought it was interesting how they were doing that. but
Good idea for the blues festival, or not the blues
Yeah.
festival, but blues on the
But-
park.
They just mounted the poles.
Make
They
it
just hook them on there and
And
then,
then you have that staff go out there and put them up.
see, I didn't ask all those questions, so, but yeah.
But I do think that, I just want to add a note that I do think we should showcase Laguna Grande Park. Because people drive by there all the time. I know it's busy, but people don't drive inside of Seaside and see our little parks, how beautiful they are. They just see Laguna Grande,
Mhm.
so we should showcase it more.
So, did you say stay at 75 or?
No, 30.
I'd
30.
say Jennifer, if we change that cost to 10 each, and then you make it 3.
Mhm.
The next one is Canyon Del Rey Medium Landscaping.
Yeah,
And it
Yeah,
does
and-
have water.
and Dan did a great job at estimating that. That's what we came up with. And unless you wanted to add palm trees, then we would need some establishment. The palm trees are not, they're not cheap. But so we could work with that number. There's already irrigation out there. It is Caltrans right away, but we just, pull a encroachment permit, work with them and then establish plants out there. So there's very nice cobblestone already in place. So it really just needs some green and some
Yeah.
color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the medium between Starbucks and Home Depot, that area, because there's no medium.
No,
No, it's
well, in between Embassy Suites and higher level dispensary.
That's it. Yes.
Okay.
I say yes.
Yeah,
I say yes.
Skyview Outlook Landscaping,
The Pocket Park. I say yes.
no.
no,
Okay, place signage with directional arrow pointing southward toward the This road monument gate for the Fort Ord National Monument located at the intersection of Light Fighter Drive and General Gym.
Yes,
So I have a question on that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Wouldn't the VA or nope, they won't do anything.
This would be a city of Seaside project as the city wanting to
Okay.
promote the access to the national monument, right? And that's something we've been working on. How do we really identify?
Yeah.
Do we have an access point within the city? Because right now, the only real access point is on the other side of 68.
Yeah.
Right, so while we have one, we wanna, it's not the easiest to get to, we're working on that. But I think the more we can push out there, and also, we're getting ready to break ground on Campus Town. And this month, and that intersection you're talking about will be all completed with Campus Town. So you think we're gonna have all this new development there and all these people coming here. Gonna be a really good spot to have some sort of linkage on how to get to the national park.
I say
As
I
yes.
say yes.
as well as the golf course.
I agree with the project, but the council is already looking to get this done, so they're gonna do it regardless, whether.
No, not the sign, no, we're already doing, like, Campus Town's part of the development, right? So they're gonna be breaking ground and there's gonna be.
This
homes
month.
built.
They're breaking ground this
But the
month,
sign-
right?
The sign no one has actually.
No, okay, no,
In that case.
And even,
yes.
and even right, if it's in this budget now and we can't, because they're out there constructing, we purchase the sign and then install it later, so that will happen.
We can do that. We can do that. I say yes.
Yes,
Yes.
Help Fund Seaside's annual Earth Day celebration.
no,
No.
hate to, but
Install a welcome to Seaside sign on General Gym or Boulevard on the median between the city of Delray Oaks boundary line and Hillby Avenue.
it didn't pass last time. That's my
Right,
only
that
worry.
was, yeah, I brought that up last time.
Yeah.
It's not even that guilty, actually.
No,
Like,
it's
it's
not.
well before.
Yeah.
And it didn't go,
It
right?
didn't go. Well, and the estimate,
Or past north boundary, right?
Yeah.
They estimated a lot more than 15, right?
yeah, that
That's-
was what brought it down. That's what, they said it cost too much.
No, but see, so this one right here, this 15, I am basing it off of the sign that we have on Broadway.
Oh, that's
It
right,
says,
you did say
Welcome to
that."
Broadway or downtown, right? It would look pretty much like
That's
that,
okay.
which is kind of our standard.
That's right.
nice.
Hmm.
The park
And it-
signs.
And do you think that that would be, do you think that that would fly? That it might get approved?
Potentially, I think it's, we go with kind of our standard, it's not a big sign, it could fit right there in the median.
Hmm.
Or. I mean.
We have to have some-
Thomas, so here.
We have to have some kind of sign there.
Yeah.
I'd be okay with it. Let's try it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
One thing think about is that we just are putting the new blue seahorse.
Oh,
at the top of Broadway though.
Yes,
did you
but
put it in there?
not yet,
Oh.
but if
Not yet.
you think about that, seahorse is already kind of our gateway.
Hmm.
We could, it's right around that same dollar amount, we could get another seahorse and put it there.
Oh, I like that.
Me too.
Yeah.
I like that a
The
lot.
horse is what we're all about.
right?
Yeah.
And that kind of like almost.
But they're fake.
But I mean, that could almost kind of solidify that as a gateway, and people know, oh, there's a seahorse here.
For sure.
And then
Yeah.
kind of mimicking what we already have, so I think we have two different options that we could look at, but they're both the right, same.
Yeah, that's correct, because we'll be receiving the second blue seahorse. It should be later this week or early next week. It's en route. And then we can order another one.
That would go right there.
Right.
So
And
do we-
and we'll be installing that
Right away.
ourselves.
We can hold on to that when
For
we're,
sure, but I mean, it could be installed fairly quick.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
say yes.
There's nothing there now that introduces that
No,
seaside, so I think it's important.
I do too.
But will it be 15 grand or is it gonna
Yeah.
go up? It
Yeah.
is?
it is. Yeah,
So
it's
it's gonna be a
it's basically
seahorse.
stainless steel powder coated. It's a very durable seahorse, just like the
It's gonna
one.
be blue though, right? Like
Yeah.
the
Same-
Sparky out here that Mr.
Correct.
Malin named.
Yes.
He named it Sparky.
Tell you about it.
Yeses?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, but we need to cross out and Healby Avenue, just on general.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so I say yes.
Murals in Seaside, allocate $2,000 to hire a consultant to identify possible location for mural art in Seaside.
No.
I say no, because I think our arts guy that runs the arts department.
Arts
will
and
find
history,
us.
that's their job.
Because
I say no
they could
too.
go
I agree
find-
with that.
He's really knowledgeable and good taste, seems like. So
You mean Jared?
Jared.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so too.
Yeah.
What, am I getting his
Jared?
right name wrong?
Hey, Jared.
Well, what's that guy's name that's in the
She
city
just
park?
makes up
I
names, guys.
thought his name was Jared, the one from
She's
Santa
calling him
Maria.
Fred for.
Oh, Thomas. Oh, I'm sorry. I
You're
don't
Fred.
know why. I keep thinking your name is Jared. Oh, my goodness.
Okay,
We gotta bring our cost down to.
that a no?
I know, yeah.
yeah,
What happened to our recommendation to Congress to change the name Monterey Bay to Bay of Seaside?
so what, I can't read our final.
Yeah, what's that?
$529,000.
Ooh,
What?
That's all I brought it down to?
What?
well, we got it, that adult recreation. It was 150.
Yeah, so we,
Take that off and we'll be close.
which one?
The adult recreation.
Okay, let's go back to the ties.
It can't be 529.
Electronic board, bulletin board on City Hall facing Canyon Road.
I say no, we can't afford it. Based on our allocation. I say no to that.
Can I make a suggestion real quick? How about each one of us chooses your favorite? And then you do a little sales pitch right now.
Favorite out of,
Out of
The-
all
the
these,
I don't
of the
knows.
ones that we've said yes on, that you just pick one and that you think is your favorite, and then we do a sales pitch on it.
No, the I don't know ones.
Well, Ray, I think that the Thai ones are amount to $200,000.
Yeah.
Which one were the Thai ones?
Well, the Thai was the electronic bulletin board and the adult recreation
Oh, okay,
equipment.
we can do
That's
that.
200,000 right there. 200,000 from 529 brings us at 329.
What do you mean it's 200,000? It's 50,000.
The 50 and the 150 equals 200,000. For the two
Yeah, I can make a
ties.
pitch for my electronic pool.
The tie was
We had
the
that-
adult recreation equipment. We had a tie down here.
Oh, okay, I
Okay.
see that one.
And then we had a tie right here, an electric bulletin board. That equals 200,000.
The adult recreation that's 150, that's what it is, or no.
it could be, you know, just depending on, we would still need to identify the location, and depending on the location. It could be more, it could be less, depending on the installation.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
Why don't we put it on next year's?
Yeah.
That's what you said,
I'll
Josh.
say no on that, that'll be.
Well, we're over.
Let's revote on that one.
wait,
Okay.
how come the churches can buy theirs for like 20,000 and we have to pay 54 hours? I mean, every church in Seaside, as well as Daryl's place has one for 20 grand. How come we have to pay 50?
No, it's 150.
Talking about the sign.
She's talking.
Sign.
about-
Oh, she's
Okay,
talking about the
Let's
sign.
talk about, let's vote on the adult recreation equipment. Who's in favor?
I think it's important,
sure.
but I can't, we can't do it.
So no,
I say no, we'll put it on for next year.
I say yes, but
And it makes our tie again.
So.
I say
the
no.
adult
No, I say no.
recreation equipment is no.
Yeah.
It's a no.
Who said no?
I said no, because it's just.
Okay, and I say no, so we've broke the tie. Okay, so it's a no.
So then we go to electronic bulletin board at City Hall facing Canyon Del Rey.
Everybody's complaining about, they don't know what's going
Yeah.
on in Seaside, la-da-da-da-da, I get complaints all the time.
So may I ask, were we, before we just voted no on the adult recreation, we were down to what?
We're now down to $379,000.
Then we're with the budget.
True. But I do have a question about that, Ramona. When you're talking about that, it's really hard. I'm envisioning your sign. And when I'm driving by, it's really hard to see what's popping up, read it fast enough.
Well, there's a sign right now that's up there that's a makeshift that I guess that the police put out there that says about the market and
No, I
slow
put it out
down.
there 'cause I wanted to say cross that road.
Okay, well, there you go.
But
People
it's,
see that. And it doesn't have to have everything on that's going on in Seaside. It could just have, okay, the Easter pageant is on the April 11th. That's it. You could have just
Easter
one or two
pageant,
things
April 11th,
or
something
whatever
like
it is.
that.
Yeah. Just-
Well, if it popped up, Easter pageant, April 11th, I might could get that if I'm, half a mile back before I get there. But I mean, it's hard if it's a lot of stuff, it's a recurring feed.
I don't want, no,
I wouldn't be able to read it. I mean, it's hard enough for me to read the, in Texas, we have those big things on the freeway, Amber Alerts. I can't even get the license plate number,
So,
and that's huge.
that's installed, electrical being pulled over to City Hall, the whole 10 yards. Because we've talked about this for, ever since I've been on the commission, 4 years.
And it got turned down at Oldmeyer.
yeah. Because there's not
Because-
enough visibility.
Yeah, visibility, but 4 years we've been asking, I think it's a game changer for us to, I mean, just like when we do the trash thing, it would be nice to say, hey, on the 28th, it's free dump day. And don't put all the location, just say, look on the website for locations or something,
It's either that or the suggestion about the app. People put that app on their phone and they get all the information on them.
We already have stuff coming out on our city newsletter that comes out, talks about it, and it,
That's true.
I just don't know that the app was gonna be any different than what the city's already doing with the city newsletter. I mean, I don't know, it's a lot of money. I think that if you guys have been trying to do it for 4 years and you guys are all behind it, I trust you guys, so I would say yes.
Ramon?
Yes.
All right,
Okay.
that's a yes.
One thing that's not on here we didn't add was jackets.
Oh,
Oh, then that puts us over.
we can have that out of our little funding money.
But it's
Just
not-
us.
There was a discussion on.
Doing everybody's.
Everybody,
But even then, it's still like $6.
So we could do ours. We said we would do 2 different ways. We would put it for everybody,
That would go out of here, or
right? And that would be how much? 5,000? About 5,000, you said. So why don't we do that? Why don't we put it on here for 5,000 at the very bottom of the list? If they want to exit off, they can. And then we'll also do it on our own, just for our commission. And so whichever one goes, which is, if that one doesn't go, then we at least have it for ourselves.
and also on top of that, we could address it to recreation, saying, hey, we're buying the jackets out of our own budget. And do you guys want to
For sure,
jump on our
We're gonna see
coattails?
it.
for sure.
And do it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I mean,
it's just never.
But I still
You
think,
would-
I still think we should,
Never.
I still think we should put it on our thing, but at the very bottom.
Fine.
And if the city doesn't want to do that, then we have the option then to put it on our NIC budget for next year.
I say, yes,
I say yes too.
Yes.
All right. That's it. I think you all got a plan.
got it. We got
Wow.
a very good plan and Thomas, thank you for giving us those new numbers. Is that
Both of you.
That made a
Thank
big difference,
Dan, you were
And,
so good.
especially
we are
that
so happy to
120
have you.
square foot.
I'm not lying.
Yeah.
We're so happy.
Yeah.
I should have said that in front of your boss. I'll tell him.
But-
We're so happy to have you.
Your boss was here?
So,
What's his name? Jared? Greg.
no, it's Frank. It's Frank. Get it straight.
I don't know why I got Jared on the
So, yeah.
I did not say that.
I don't have my,
Any feedback
Greg?
on the
Greg.
work plan document I got there?
No.
No.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good,
Just
thank
go
you
back
so
to
much.
this, oh, never mind.
Do you have a couple of extras for the 2 that are not here?
They have the package, so it's in
Okay.
the. And when they got the materials emailed to them, they should be able to pull out everything.
Okay.
And I know I don't know if this is appropriate time, but when will you get back to us on the video on 6D?
I'll try and connect with them tomorrow.
Okay, and then you'll email that to us, or will we have to?
I'll work on,
Okay, great. Excellent.
Report from commissioners.
I have something.
Yes.
So one of the things that I heard that was mentioned by Jose was business recommendation, because he did an information briefing to city council about, trying to expand the businesses in the area and bring more attention to them. And he had said in there something about business, he didn't say business recommendation, he said business recognition. And that seems kind of like similar. You could construe it, that's kind of what we're doing with the business of the quarter or the business of the year, whichever it is. I don't remember what we decided.
Business of the quarter.
But that's kind of what we're doing is that business recognition. Should we be working with Jose when we talk about doing this business?
yeah, you could reach out to them.
Okay,
We can work with me, whoever's like on the, whoever's doing the first business of the quarter. I can let them know, like, Jose, the NIC is, trying to identify a business of the quarter. You mind scheduling a meeting with so-and-so that you guys can talk about it.
I think that would be great. What do you guys think? Yeah, I think that would be great.
Okay.
And just letting him know that is one of the things that we are working on as a commission.
I think he's trying to do it on a larger scale, right? What you're doing is great. I think he's really trying to figure out more ways to attract businesses, keep them here more than, and improve, and just increase on what we're already.
Okay, well, I just don't want to compete. I don't want to see him to see us as competing with him. I want to, if we can, I want to enhance him or let him use us to help him do what he's wanting to do.
I'm just asking for the next meeting date. Any other commissioners?
I do real quickly. So, I mentioned to y'all before that there's the Monterey Fire Department has a CERT team, Community Emergency Response Team. And I was looking to get one started at Seaside. That makes no sense because Monterey Fire Department kind of runs the community peninsula. But each city has its own team, but Seaside does not. So I'm going to try to get, we don't even have a locker in Seaside with all emergency supplies in case there's a mass casualty event. We had a training a few weeks ago in Monterey, one of those kind of events. They've got lockers there with keeps all the supplies. We don't have one in Seaside, so we do.
Yeah.
Oh, how come? Okay, well, CERT doesn't know about it.
Well, we have it behind the pool. It's
Okay.
the fire department, I know, it holds all of our
Okay.
stuff and supplies. And
Medical supplies, all that?
EOC stuff.
Okay, so then what we need to do, so what I'll take upon it is let CERT know that because right now, if there's a lost person, urban, then our fire department wants to ask CERT to help out, they got to go through the Monterey Fire Department. We don't have a Seaside team.
And we've done like a mock, we set up the EOC once with Red Cross. We set up
Okay.
all the stuff out of that. I don't know if that's everything you need, but we work with the fire department. We do have like a Connex box full of EOC stuff.
Okay, well, I'll talk to the fire department and see if they'd like to get a search team in Seaside going.
Ramona? I have nothing. Reports from staff?
No major report other than the Seaside Stars nomination period ended. That's one thing I do through the recreation department. And so we'll be reviewing those nominations coming up to get some more stars on Broadway. And then I just want the commission to be aware, I probably have a conflict for the May 6th meeting. So I will probably reach out to have someone else sit in my place with that meeting.
Okay. So May 6th will be our next meeting.
Can we reschedule it so that he can be here?
Wait, can we?
No, you don't need to reschedule it for me. We don't have a lot going on.
Yeah.
Look,
Also, the public gets upset when you change things.
yeah.
They do.
True.
They do.
Okay.
So, Yes.
Yeah, and just a report, I mentioned about the blue seahorse that's en route to be delivered, but also the palm tree lighting. So it's across from where the Monterey Weekly is. We're demoing those. We'd ask that you take a look. We're gonna try to get some photos. There's just one other option we want to add. We noticed there's so this was elsewhere in another seat where there was up lights and down lights. So instead of that will be another option. And then once there's a decision amongst you, then we can go and replicate that all the way down Fremont.
A
Mhm.
decision as to the
What-
median.
Yes, what look you would like on the palm trees for the lighting. Mhm.
Oh, we have to come up with that?
Well, that was part of, yeah, so.
Hmm.
That was one of the things that the council came up with to use your money for.
Yes,
The last.
Oh,
yes, yes.
No, you're fine.
Yeah,
And
It's coming from the allocation.
yeah.
so,
But-
yes, I understood that. That's why I was like, I'm just wondering, do we need to make that decision on the lights or?
He's just getting your input.
Yeah.
Okay.
What your thoughts are.
Okay,
Christmas
Okay.
would be green and red.
That may be a little bit more. Now, like,
I'm messing with you.
and when will we need to let him know about that?
We'll,
Our
we'll,
input.
we'll get that two of them are already lit. We're gonna do a third one. And then I guess we'll push out that information for people to take a look at and receive feedback from that. So maybe at the next NIC meeting?
Good,
Mhm.
okay.
That's good.
And you said they're already up right now, so when we drive down there, we'll see them?
Right, and of course, then we have,
They're at
we-
KFC,
yes.
Right across from the weekly building.
the weekly
Yeah.
building,
Because
okay.
it's been staying light till it's still light. It's 7 o'clock. It's still light. So I mean, you have to wait another hour or so.
That's my commissioner report.
Yes.
Sorry. But I noticed that our corner, Canyon Del Rey and Del Monte, the seaside sign, all the poppies are gone. Granted, we did ask for help from PW, but they just mowed everything off. And so there's no beautiful springtime, no poppies. And it would have been gorgeous, like every spring. So really disappointed in that they got rid of all of our poppies.
I didn't even see him come up at all this year,
I know, they didn't.
but maybe they just haven't.
Well,
Well, my
last spring-
poppies are just
last
coming up
spring-
now. They haven't even started, well, okay,
the
my
parks
yellow
have them.
my yellow poppies haven't even bloomed yet. But my white and pink poppies, have been blooming for about a month now.
I don't
So-
know what poppies are, but I think we should change the landscape there.
Yeah, gonna have to
Yeah,
because
with all the rock and all that stuff going
It's
on.
the
you
rocks
got
that are-
weeds, you got weeds growing up as soon as they
it's
take
too
them out.
hard to,
It's too hard to maintain if we did some in our budget next year. or
and
whatever.
FOSPA doesn't want to take it over. Because I asked FOSPA if they would help
Uh-huh.
and they said, no, they've got too many parks now. And as a commission, we used to go out there, the other ones, and we used to go up there and pick, but it was hard to pick out weeds from the rocks.
And you have to really,
Public Works is here, I'm sure he'll address it.
Oh, is it public work? Oh, yeah, so they ruined our poppies.
Because drought efficient plants and, do something like that.
They're drought resistant, but they're just not. They just
Yeah.
they ruin the spring.
Yeah, I'll have to go take a look out there and walk it with the public works supervisor to see. Yeah, and I didn't know that there were poppies there. And maybe they haven't just come up yet, but we'll take a look at that. Yeah,
That'd be great.
yeah.
Because that is a showcase.
No,
It-
Yes.
Copies are there, like it's.
It pops.
Yeah.
Those was one, two. Right.
Sure. That was my biggest concern of when we talked about replacing everything. I was like, but we got all these great wildflowers to show us.
and I do remember the poppies, not last year, but the year before. Was it last spring? Okay, it was last
Seems like
spring.
every year they're.
Nice. Oh,
Okay,
okay, Sherman,
I motion adjournment.
I second.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very
Jennifer,
much,
Dan.
everybody.